It always bugs me when politicians say that they're able to run government like a business, confusing the micro and the macro. When you're running a government, you're running an economy. The market isn't self-sustaining. The market does need a referee at the very least, someone to step in and make sure that there isn't fraud, make sure that there isn't worker abuses, make sure that there's respect for human rights. Classic economics doesn't account for things like human rights or environmental justice, environmental preservation, like the fact that if you produce too much pollution that you'll end up with toxic air and toxic soil. These sorts of things are viewed as externalities. They're not accounted for. There's this island nation, and I'm forgetting what the name of it is now, but the island was covered in bat droppings, guano, and it was really high in, I believe, phosphorus or potash or whatever. It was really rich in this nutrient that's used for industrial fertilizer, chemical fertilizers. So the people of this island nation were willing to sell the land that they were living on, that they were farming on, and open it all to mining. So they went from having a lush, green, tropical island where they could grow plenty of food to a barren wasteland. And they got a ton of money, but that didn't last for very long because then they had to start importing everything. And it seems like that's what we're doing with our planet. We're eating everything out from underneath ourselves. The goose that lays the golden egg is an environment with air that we can breathe and soil we can farm without poisoning ourselves. And we're running out of that. More than that though, it's really important not to confuse the microeconomics with the macroeconomics for other reasons. Whenever you have an economy where there are people who make money by lending money and then expecting a return on the money, they're eventually going to end up with all of the money. And so we can't confuse the micro with the macro. What might be good for your individual business, what might be good for you as an individual person, could be really bad for the rest of the economy. And that's something that we have to realize. When things are really bad for the rest of the economy, eventually it will come back to bite you. And just as things can be really good for you as an individual but really bad for the economy, things can also be really good for the economy and really bad for the planet. Just like that island nation that sold its very land out from underneath itself and completely impoverished itself in the process, we have to look at the macro as well. The fact that what can be really good for the economy can be really bad for the planet. And that if we continue down that road that may be good for you as an individual business or good as an individual making financial decisions or whatever, if we continue down that road long enough, we will kill the planet and you will kill off your progeny. So if the way that we measure the progress in our economy is that every time we cut down a forest, the GDP goes up, every time we open a strip mine, the GDP goes up, if every time that we, pull tar sands or frack an area and ruin the drinking water and give everybody cancer, if every time we do that the GDP goes up, then it must be that our economy is an attempt for us to commit suicide collectively.